Hello and welcome. This is the Connectors Edge podcast, and we are in line with all of the Connectors things that are going on. And I say things because I don't know what else to call them. So we have the Connectors Edge podcast, we have the Connectors Hour book club, we have the Connectors Classroom, which is teaching software and all the different things that are going on in this world on the computer. And we also have Marketing Made Easy. We also have Red O'Laughlin, who is a biomolecular cause and effect of serious diseases researcher, and he's written, I think, 8 books now. He's got another book coming called Aging Sucks, but it doesn't have to. And he teaches people how to get their book out to build their authority, how to get it up on Amazon, how to get people to read it, how best selling, all the stuff that goes along with building your authority with the written word. So that's a lot of stuff that's going on here, right? And we've
Right.
got new things coming up. So starting in May, the last Thursday of every May, the last Thursday of the month of May, we have a brand new Visibility Power Hour where business owners and authors and teachers, all the different people that fall into a category where they want to be seen and heard, can come into our group. And the leader, which is Tanya Hewlett, is going to be directing everyone who comes like a gang. Like we're going to go out and we're going to write testimonials and we're going to do things that really get people seen. One of the things that I know that we could do is to go out and like and comment and do the things that people are going to be seeing. And so they're going to focus on a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. In our group, we have doctors, lawyers, teachers, nutritionists, yoga instructors, you name it. If it's available, our group is hosting them. And so we want everyone to see us. So that's what we're doing. We want to be seen and heard. So please come and join us. All you have to do is go to connectorsbusinessnetwork.com. We're on YouTube. We're on all the podcast apps, and we're right here on Zoom with you.
And we are connecting. Good
Yes.
morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome. And I am Ricki McKenna. I am Marian's co-host on the Connector's Edge podcast. And I'm having a lot of fun because I live in the absolutely gorgeous mountains of
I
Colorado.
can see.
Yeah, and I have the incredible pleasure of introducing our guests today, whom I've known since 2012. Um, they are two of the most conscious, caring, loving people who bless humanity with their wisdom that they've gathered from eons all over the place. And so I'd like to introduce Connie Baxter Marlowe and Andrew Cameron Bailey, and welcome to the Connector's Edge.
Welcome.
Yes, well, we're so happy to be here. And in this connectivity that's what's up
Yeah,
now for humanity is coming together and working together, collaboration over competition. So
absolutely.
we are thrilled to be here.
Yes.
And it's a
Yes.
delight, a treat, and an honor. And we just saw you, Ricki, up in the beautiful Rocky Mountains. And right now
Yep.
we're down in Sedona, Arizona, where
Oh,
I am completing my next book. The follow-up to the Trust Frequency is called Homo Sapiens, and we'll talk about that at some time.
okay. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you to kind of get things rolling. In 2012, I was privileged to buy a limited first edition, says so down here, of the trust frequency, which I would love for you to talk about. And what I want to find out from the two of you, what was the motivation to call it the trust frequency?
Great name, by the way.
I
Yes.
think I would, I think I can answer that by saying Connie came up with that phrase, and I said, that's it, because we had the book already in the works, and it was called The 10 Assumptions. like the Ten Commandments. We said, well, let's just talk about assumptions, the things, in other words, the foundational beliefs that add up to our worldview, the
yeah.
paradigm in which we live. And so this was already well in the works. And we had a very first sort of mock-up that we did that we still have one copy. We made one copy. We went to a Kinko's and printed it up and made this thing. And it's called the 10 Assumptions. And it's the sort of the first iteration. And then when Connie came up with the trust frequency, I said, that's the title. And it's a good title. Then the subtitle, as you can see there, Ricki, is
10 assumptions.
10 assumptions for a new paradigm.
A new paradigm.
Because in a sense, it's all about assumptions. And there are those who say you shouldn't make assumptions. Well, we all make assumptions.
Of course.
Darn right we do.
We base our worldview, we base our very existence on assumptions. I'm here breathing air. I have to be able to assume that that air is safe to breathe. Some air is so polluted you don't want to be breathing.
It isn't safe. No.
And so here's the real point. Our current reality on planet Earth as Homo sapiens, as this species, is based on a set of erroneous, outdated assumptions that no longer serve us. In fact, they endanger us.
Yeah.
Assumptions such as, just take one, separation. How huge is that we assume that we're all these separate bodies and these separate communities and these separate families and these separate tribes and nations? Where does that assumption led us? When in fact, separation is a complete man-made fan. We made it up. It doesn't exist.
And the other one that I love, Andrew, because it's so untrue, is that we're separated from our God.
That's right.
That's the first God or creator or whatever, that we're all separate little pieces. It's like, what is the analogy of the drop of water from the ocean? You have the whole ocean in there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Rumi quote. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a single drop.
And yeah, it's just so important that our title says the trust frequency, because it's vibration, it's frequency. And people are understanding that now, that we have to shift our vibration. And what we are bringing forth in this book is 10 assumptions to shift our vibration, to walk in absolute trust of a conscious, loving, abundant universe. Because in the higher vibrations, the laws are expanded. It's a completely different reality in a higher vibration, in a higher frequency. So this is really important for people to understand that it's physics. It's just that simple. You can't fool God, and you can't fool the physics, the vibration of things. So it has to do with actually understanding that we have to walk it to be it. We have to see it, understand it, and then walk it to get into that frequency. And that's what we do with this book, is we give people the tools to understand how the universe works, that it's in fact all love, even the things we see as not love. Okay. Yeah. We take people beyond that right, wrong, good, evil, victim, perpetrator vibration into that field Rumi talks about, beyond right doing and wrongdoing. It's a huge leap. It's the next big leap for humanity to get to that place.
Well, you know what I love about the book and about when you speak about it? When I first got the book in 2012, I was at a certain level, if you want to call it that. And I started reading it, and I left, it still has the page marker in it. Okay. Point being, I had gotten about halfway through the book, and I hadn't picked it up again until we met back at the 3rd Street Center at the Center for Human Flourishing.
Last week.
And I started from the beginning. And I have to tell you, it was like an explosion. It was just incredible, the difference that, 14 years made of living between where I am now in Colorado and when I was in Houston, and all the events that have gone on in my life. But I sat down and I couldn't put it down. I could not put the book down because it confirmed every single thing that I had been learning from the unity philosophy and other philosophies from the ancients. And I love that you quote so many of the ancient philosophers and authors and thinkers. I mean, Thoreau and going way, way back. It's not just you two. This is bringing forth to me, and I've got God bumps. To me, this book and the whole, what it's saying, the assumptions and how you explain them, which is hilarious at times, it brings forth an ancient, the beliefs of the ancients and the indigenous tribes who knew we're connected to the earth, we're connected to the sky, we're connected to trees, cats, dogs, elephants, whatever. And that's the way I'm looking at it now.
All
Okay,
right.
I
Take it
have
from
not
there.
read the book. Hold on a minute. Now, I have not read the book, so I've only heard about it and seen the cover, and now I've met you and I've talked to Ricki about it. So my guesstimation about what it is I'm going to learn is how I can see things that obviously look different, like a tree, an elephant, a human, even humans, black, brown, white, short, uh, all the different things all over the universe, right? They're all different. Planets look different. Everything looks different. And what you're trying to tell me is you're going to show me how to see that as love, how to see it as whole.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And may
Wow.
I say love with a capital L? We distinguish the love we're talking about with a capital L from everyday love. Like, I love this beautiful woman here with a, I do love you with a big L, but this is the human love. I love my grandchildren. I love my dog. I love the planet Earth. I love being alive. Those are human aspects of love, and this is explained very clearly in the book.
Okay.
The huge love we're talking about, and it's huge, it's as huge as the universe itself, because it is the universe itself. The universe consists entirely of love with a capital L.
Would you
Now
consider what you're teaching us a religion?
no,
Okay.
it's science, it's physics,
Okay.
and it's an upgrade to the operating system of the human
Speaking my
being.
language now.
We're
I like that.
upgrading. So our current human biocomputers, which are divided up into all these individual humans in these individual bodies, are running on an outdated operating system.
Yes,
And what the
aren't we,
trust
though?
frequency book
It's
does is it
obvious.
puts in your
Good way to put
hands,
it.
it puts the upgrade in your hands and leaves you to make the choice. And so we say, here's 10. There could be 115. It doesn't matter. The number's not important. But even just changing 10, upgrading 10 assumptions, foundational beliefs about the nature of the universe, about the nature of reality. The very first one is we live, as Connie just mentioned, we live in a conscious, loving universe. Now, I'm a science guy. I have 7 years of university behind me, and I did lots of physics and mathematics and chemistry and all that good stuff. And I learned a lot, but I learned nothing about something called a conscious, loving universe. Nothing at all. So by the age of 22, 23, 24, I was highly educated and completely ignorant. I knew nothing whatsoever about the true nature of the universe.
Andrew, I'm going to
Well,
break in here and give you
sure.
my view on what you're saying here. I have this experience with a doctor, a specific doctor, okay, a rheumatologist. So when they were trying to get, all these different things happening, right? Like infusions and pills and all the stuff. And when I mentioned to her, I said, what about food? What about exercise? Never once mentioned anything
Mm-hmm.
other than pills and infusions and things that they could do there in the office and sell us and
Yeah.
prescribe. It's like no matter how much education you have, you're limited into that particular thing. So when you're talking about you had all this education, but they didn't teach you, or they didn't show you that there's other things that you could learn that would help you see the bigger picture. And it's finally dawning on me what's happening. You explained it so well.
Yeah, we've built a skyscraper on a false foundation.
Bummer.
It's in the Bible about the man who built his house on the sand.
On sand.
The man who built his house on the rocks, and the storm came, etc., etc. And guess which one survived? Yeah, we're on the survival one.
Yeah, and from my perspective, see, the earth has been in a lower vibration for millennia. Okay, so there's a certain amount of information available to us in the lower vibration. All right. And so it was information of separation. So if I put my hands up right now, I can't see you, right? If there's a veil that prevents me from seeing that we are one with all of creation, then that's the information I have. So it's no shame, no blame that we've been operating in that belief. And scarcity, it's information of scarcity. There's not enough to go around. So you have to fight with the other to survive, to get enough for you and your children. So you build systems of competition, you train everybody to survive. It's all based on survival in a lower frequency with the lower information. Okay? So then that's fear-based. So that's that, and look at our systems. They are logical solutions to separation and scarcity and fear. Okay? So we train our kids, we train our doctors, we train everybody in that lower frequency. And then comes the scientific paradigm that put us on the fast track to understand that that doesn't work. We're out of sync with all of creation, with universal law, with the divine, with our hearts. Okay? So it's been a natural process. So there's no shame, no blame, because guilt just keeps our heart closed. What we need to do is open our hearts. And as the earth is rising in frequency, I don't know if you're aware of all the solar flares and all the things that are going on. As the earth rises in frequency, there's more information. So now we're seeing that we are one. The veil is thinning. It's on everyone's lips in our world, this oneness of creation. And the science is proving it with the holographic nature of the universe. See, we call our book an indigenous cosmology quantum science synthesis, because science is proving now that it's a holographic universe. We are the universe. Okay, everything we do, say, think, and feel matters. Okay, so as the information becomes available and in the higher frequencies, there's more abundance than we can fathom. Okay, Jesus with his loaves and fishes. All right, there were 14 bushels, 40 bushel baskets left over of the fish and the bread and stuff. So he's showing us with all the healing that he did, okay, and what you're speaking to, Marian, that we have the power to heal ourselves.
Yes.
And so this is coming to pass now as the earth rises in frequency and as we have transmuted those energies of fear and separation and scarcity. That's been our job for all of creation. So congratulations, humanity. We're on a great track. We're doing great. And now we need to access this higher frequency and walk in trust.
Here's how I know what you're saying. Here's how I'm sure of it. My father, who was an anti anything that wasn't in the Bible or that he was taught, he was a doctor as well. And if he didn't know it already, then it didn't exist. And when he had a stroke and a heart attack. And when he came out of the hospital, he could all of a sudden start seeing auras. Now, he didn't know what they were. He didn't call them auras. He just said, I'm seeing colors around people. And so in my opinion, what was happening is that veil you're talking about, it got some kind of a break, some kind of a poke, some kind of a way for him to get through that veil that everybody else has in front of him. That's how I look at it. I've got goosebumps as well, Ricki.
Me too.
All right.
Me too.
Yeah.
Up and down my back.
Because my father would never say that if it wasn't something he was experiencing. And I was too young to, talk to him about it, but here's what he told me. Because he was a doctor, he did see a lot of people that were ill. And he said if they had black color around them, they were gone within a week. And it
Wow. Yeah.
freaked him out. He was so upset about it. He could see other colors, but the black really freaked him out because he knew that they weren't long for this world. And when his best friend died, he just collapsed. He just couldn't handle it. And
Yeah.
my mother and I are the only ones he told this about. And so for all these years, I've been thinking, what in the world? So if you look at people and dogs and different things, we get to see certain colors. We get to see things here, different frequencies. We know darn good and well that there's other ones out there. There's other colors we can't see. There's other frequencies we're not hearing. We know it, but it doesn't dawn on us that it's what you guys are talking about here, a veil that's keeping us from it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that if we all of a sudden let go of the veil, we'd probably, freak out with all everything we were seeing and hearing, right?
Yeah, there's a good reason for it. Einstein actually said on the subject of time, which is
Yep.
related, listen to this. Einstein said, the reason we have time is so that everything doesn't happen at once.
Once, yes,
That's
I love that
hilarious, but
quote.
it's true. Can you
Mhm.
imagine being in the eternal now, where everything was actually happening
I
all at the
can't.
same time?
I
We
I
can't.
couldn't
think
do it.
sometimes it is
Well,
lately.
there's that, but I think
Yeah.
it would just explode. So that's the point. There's a purpose to all of this experience that we have, even the things we wouldn't choose, the things that we feel are what Connie would describe as not love with a capital L. There's no such thing as not love. There's only love. Because that love, I'm going to give you an alternative word if you're scientifically oriented, energy. As in E equals mc squared, that E in there, that E, we could replace it with L, and we're still talking about the same thing. It is the universal energy that creates and sustains the entire universe. That's the love we're talking about. It's a very big deal. And
Ooh.
we're an completely integral part of it. We can't get away from it. There is no place to escape from it. Who would want to? Because the love of the universe is the universe. I am the universe. There's no separation. So we appear to be four different humans on the screen here, but this is just a magical illusion, the light show that's put on by, who's the guy in with Dorothy, the projection. So this projection screen is really beautiful, really inspirational, really educational. We learn everything we need to learn from the way we experience reality. But the nature of the experience we have depends on our assumptions, on our belief system. So if I believe that I'm a science guy, so I was trained to believe that the universe is some kind of incredible clockwork mechanical mechanism that contains life, obviously, but is not itself alive. And yet there's this other thing, because the church at the same time is telling me, oh, there's God, and God is everything, and God is everywhere. So there's a big split right there. We call it the split in the human psyche, where we're divided into the mechanistic paradigm
Yeah.
and the religious paradigm, both of which are partial, both of which are not complete until we integrate them. And what the trust frequency book sets out to do is to integrate those systems or those lenses through which we can view reality and learn to accept, using our free will, a whole brand new one. So here's 10 opportunities to do that. And you can make up your own. You can be as playful as you like because the universe is very, very playful.
Yeah, and these 10 assumptions and definitions that we have provide a construct. If one takes them as absolutely true, a construct on the nature of the universe, then one can understand that everything happens for us, not to us. Okay, it's huge. We get out of victim. We are the benefactors. We gave permission when we incarnated to the loving universe to take us on our journey to self-love and self-acceptance and alignment with our divinity and purpose.
Ooh,
Okay?
that's a big
So
job.
It's a big job, okay? So people come into our lives to show us our light, the parts of ourselves we love.
Yep.
And other people come into and experiences come in to show us our shadow, those parts we don't love yet. Okay. And we want to say, get out of my life. I hate you. You're just like dad. You just abandoned me. You didn't go to the movies with me and you promised me you would, and I hate you forever. No, you say, hey, thank you very much. You just activated my abandonment issues. Thank you. Thank you. I still have work to do on my abandonment issues. And what's beneath our abandonment issues? I'm not okay.
Insecurity.
I shouldn't be here.
Insecurities.
I shouldn't be here. I'm too stupid. I just shouldn't be here. So of course you're going to abandon me. And that's why when I was in my crib, I'm not me personally, but I use this as two twins are in their crib and they wake up and they cry for their mother. Their mother's in the bathroom, doesn't hear them. She comes and she hears them crying. She comes in. One says, "Hi, Mom." The other one says to themselves, "Mom hates me. I'm never, I shouldn't be here. She didn't come when I cried." You
Oh
see,
my.
individual thing. We're going to take on the wounds that we need, that we carry for our life, that we it brings in experiences, that keeps bringing experiences in until we go, hold on,
Are
I
we in
am
a
a
school
beautiful
then?
divine
Sounds
being.
like you're describing a school. Experience this.
This is
The
a
earth
school.
is a
The earth
school.
is.
That's
Are you
exactly,
kidding?
that's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely.
purpose. It's here for the joy and the happiness and the love and all that stuff. But what our soul is doing is learning and growing and evolving.
Which is key work right now for everyone to
Yes.
do that work, to do the inner work. And it's not easy. We have an online course
Hurts.
called The Dance of Souls. It's
It's
not easy.
painful. It's not easy. It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts. And we've put on this mask that says, "Hey, color me happy. I'm perfect. I got A's in school and I'm this and that." But underneath we have a stupid tape. I got A's, but I was faking it because I'm really stupid and shouldn't be here. And
Woo.
and somebody comes and activates whenever we're triggered. We know that it's our work, not theirs. It's not about them. It's about us when it triggers us. So that's a gift that we have from the trust frequency as well.
When you were speaking, Andrew, it reminded me of the Smothers Brothers and their, mom liked me better than you or liked you better than me, and how they capitalized on that. And underneath all that, I'm trying to figure out if it was under the comedy, it was serious, or under the seriousness, it was comedy. Because it just kind of came together. And they did it so beautifully that people laughed. They made fun of it, which is one of the things I appreciate about the book, The Trust Frequency, is you've got a sense of humor in there. And at times I was hysterical, laughing hysterically. But it's just if people would not take themselves so seriously, and I've had those issues underneath. My dad called me stupid for years. And one day when I went to college and got away from him and I gathered some friends, I realized, hell, I'm not stupid. I'm very smart. It was like boing, the light bulbs went on. And I know Marian has felt the same way in some, not quite the same, but it's amazing how when you collaborate with people, when you trust others, and I think this is part of it, what I've learned, that you can open and the feelings usually come out that are almost exactly the same, but they're different because an individual saying it here, another individual saying it here, but we're all saying the same things in our own ways. And that's how it strikes me. And I'm what's the word? The expression, it's British. Andrew, help me here. Gobsmacked.
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 That we hear that every week because we have an Australian who comes on one of our Zooms, and she's constantly gobsmacked, like being smacked in the face, smacked in the gobs mouth.
Yeah. But it's like, wow, Marian, I never knew that either. You never mentioned that before, but that's incredible.
About my
And
dad, you
I
mean?
hope that, yeah, about your dad.
Well, it's interesting because my dad, who was a total left brain businessman,
Mm-hmm.
had heart attacks, etc., and that never happened for him. And he tried his best to grok the trust frequency. And
Yeah.
I majored in economics, and I was going to be dad. I was going to go into business. He thought I was going to be president of IBM, and I had an awakening situation. And he never understood another word I said, and he never ever grokked. But he stayed my friend and supporter, but he never ever understood. So that's cool that your dad had that. It just depends on the soul's journey.
Yeah.
I think that was an epiphany of some kind, if you want to call it that. But what I was thinking, it just plunk sparked this. People who have heart attacks need to learn to love themselves. And maybe that's part of having a heart attack, other than probably not eating correctly and exercising. I mean, the physiology of it. But
That's the nutritionist talking there.
yeah,
Yeah.
can't help it. But what I'm
Bring it
saying
on,
is,
Ricki.
the heart, that the heart's your other brain. I mean, besides your gut too. If people were to follow their hearts, we'd have a lot less problems in this country and in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Because your heart can say to you one thing, it's like intuition, call it what you want. Make a left turn here because you don't know what's ahead that way and it doesn't look right. And you keep going straight and you get into trouble. But if you made the left turn, you're cool.
That's right.
You're talking the trust frequency.
That is the trust frequency.
Okay, so listen to your heart.
Intuition.
Yeah. Yeah.
The big question is, trust is a loaded term. Because as a human being, can I trust every other human being? Can I trust the president of my country? Can I trust, And the answer is
No.
Yes.
not necessarily.
Yes.
So what can I trust? There's only two things that I can say we can trust with absolute conviction. One of them is the loving universe, and the other is myself, my own intuition. If I trust my own intuition in the context of the trust frequency, which is how I engage with the loving universe, all of those other things are kind of taken care of. Someone comes into my life, a question is always, can I trust this person?
Mm-hmm.
And what do I feel? And if I feel, careful, trust that. If I feel, oh man, this is angelic, trust that. And everything in between.
And trust those people to show you your light and your shadow.
Yeah.
If someone comes in to show you your shadow, so it's not trusting someone to be kind all the time.
Be nice.
Okay, to be nice. I say never accuse me of being nice. I'll be real, but don't accuse me of being nice. But that's the important thing. It's trusting the loving universe that it's going to take you on this journey to self-love and self-acceptance. So it's really important to recognize that everything happens for us, not to us. Okay, that's key because shifting out of that victim mentality, that vibration is key for all of humanity at this point to reach that level because there's new experiences waiting for us. We just made a film called Cosmic Contact. We don't have to bring that into this, but the extraterrestrials are awaiting us. We have a cosmic family that's awaiting us in a higher frequency. Okay, so one thing I just wanted to say that with our 10 assumptions, we said it's a conscious loving universe and it gives us everything we ask for.
Yeah.
Okay. What are our requests? All right. Our consciousness. All right. We have 8 A's of our consciousness that determine our frequency and thereby
8 words beginning with the letter A. When Connie says the 8 A's, a little explanation.
Right.
A list of 8 A's. Interesting, in the English language, these words all begin with the letter A.
Yeah.
Right. And they are our requests to the loving universe. That's how we couch it, we say it, but in fact, they determine our frequency, our vibration. All right. And I can say those 8 A's in one sentence, and it's a really important reminder that one can just say the sentence to oneself and see where their eight A's are. Where are they vibrating? What are they doing with these 8 A's? And in our book, it's 7 A's, but a friend who's an international cosmologist said you need to add an eighth one. So I will say them in one sentence, if that's okay with everyone.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
Let's have it.
Okay, here it is. And watch the modifier of the A, okay? With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, attune to the universal energies, take committed action, which is the kicker. We have to act from that place and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams.
Oh, yay.
There's a little instruction manual.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Now that's breaking down that list
Wow.
came from the question, what is consciousness? Which is a question that has baffled physicists forever. Nobody's been able to, you got to go talk to the church about that. What is consciousness? And so you go to the dictionary and you look up consciousness, and it says awareness. And the first A is indeed awareness. But there's a lot more and a lot more depth to it. So we ask this question, okay, what are the attributes of consciousness so we can break it down? Let's analyze it here. So, okay, we've got awareness, but we've got attention, we've got assumption, we've got all of these other ones that Connie just listed there, each of which add up. It's like an octave of ideas or concepts that add up, and they actually literally our belief system radiates into the universe through those, what Connie calls the 8 A's. I still call the 7 A's. If you read the book, it says the 7 A's.
Yeah.
And the point is that this is how we interact with the universe. It's our vibratory state determines what comes back to us. We create reality with the power of our consciousness, and that's how we do it. So the third assumption is precisely that. We create reality with the power of our consciousness. And then the question comes up, what do you mean by consciousness? Well, the 7 A's just explain that.
The fourth assumption.
And so depending on our state of consciousness, if we are old hippies from the 60s, our vibe, our vibration, our vibratory state, it's literally science. That whole vibe thing back in the 60s was good expression of science. What kind of attitude are you bringing to the party here? What's your vibe? If you're a high vibe person, I want to be around you. If you're a low vibe person, let me out of here, right?
I love it. The Beach Boys, good vibes.
Everybody's talking. I mean, what's the one again? No.
Good vibrations.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is physics and it is real and you can't fool it, as I said. It's just that simple.
And I want to say one other thing, one of the other assumptions, just to make sure we don't miss this. I don't know if we're going to be running out of time at some point.
I was just thinking that. That's okay.
So there's a word, and this is pure Connie Baxter Marlowe. When I met this young lady 23 years ago, and we're traveling and we're going somewhere on the road in the van, and she's just coming up with this extraordinary stuff. Now, I had...
Oh dear, you just froze.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I never heard before. And I kept saying to her, Connie, you've got to write a book. You've got to write a book. You've got to write a book. Turned out she wasn't going to write a book. So guess who got to write the book? This guy. And this collaboration was based on ideas and, shall we say, a skeleton of an articulation of the nature of the universe that Connie had come up with. And this is the one I wanted to focus on right now. The word, that we're all victims of. And that word is Circumstance. Have you ever, or has anybody ever felt like a victim of circumstance? Now, what would you have to say about circumstance?
Circumstance loves us more than we do because it's divine. We think we want to go certain directions to please dad, to be successful, to do all this stuff. And so we put our attention there, and circumstance drives us in another direction. We don't have the money to go to college, whatever it might be. And we end up being a poet, okay? Because we promised to bring us as a poet to the world. Okay. And so here's circumstance that feels terrible and I feel like a failure. And now I'm just a poet when in fact that was the gift you promised to bring to the world.
Yeah.
So we become beneficiaries of circumstance instead of victim. It turns the whole victim thing on its head. And we become beneficiaries of these events, these circumstances in our lives. Joseph Campbell said toward the end of his life, there were 3 pivotal moments in his life. They were disastrous things, and I think they all began with D. I think there was a divorce. I think there was a death, and there was a disease. And he had these 3 Ds that were horrific at the time. He would no way have chosen them. And yet he said, at the age of 80-ish, he said, I would never have become the man I became had it not been for those circumstances. And that was a big one. That was that was a Bill Moyer interview.
And people are coming to that place now. People who've been terribly abused, people who've experienced just horrible things are coming to that place. Hey, I wouldn't be the person I am today without that. And that's the huge leap.
Connie and Andrew, will you please come back? Because I want to start with victim and victimizing and victimhood and all the stuff. I would really like for you all to come back, please, because we have so much more to say. We do have to keep our podcast to 30 minutes because that's all people have the capability of giving us that time. But I really want you to come back because we just scratched the surface. We've gotten to know each other. We've been introducing your book and all the things that are going on, but I don't feel like we touched on everything that I want to touch on, which I want to start with victim, the word victim.
It's huge.
That's a very good start.
Marian.
That's so big.
It's the big leap.
I think everybody has felt like a victim at one time, right? And
once we understand what's really going on in the universe beyond the veil, it's all love coming through for our benefit. It's not happening to us. I'm not a victim. It's happening for me. And I'm getting the benefit.
It's hard to see that when it's happening, but later on.
So difficult.
I know.
Well, in this construct, these 10 assumptions, these definitions and construct, that's the only answer. So if one takes, and for me, there's only the coming of peace on earth and heaven on earth. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. So everything serves that. So everything. Absolutely. For me, that's my worldview. Okay. So all the things that everyone was just shaking their head about are in fact serving us. I don't choose to mention what's going on, but it is serving us. I don't give that the power, but I look through it and say, okay, this is serving the coming of peace on earth and heaven on earth. If you know what I'm speaking to.
I do.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us today. Ricki, do you have one last thing to say?
I do. Thank you, Connie and Andrew, and thank you, Marian. And please, if you've heard something that you need to comment about, please comment. We want your feedback. We welcome your feedback and your questioning. This will help us to go on with the next episode with Connie and Andrew. Please let us know how you feel. Comment below and come back and see us again on the Connector's Edge.
We'll be back.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.